Protecting justice, or just protecting themselves? As you watch what's next, ask yourself, whose interests do police and prosecutors have in mind? This is Officer Anthony Armour walking into federal court. It's where he and Phoenix police face two lawsuits. One filed by Francis Salazar.
Oh my gosh, it was devastating. It was devastating. It was worse than a nightmare. I mean...
And if you've seen her reports, you know her case.
His grandmother sent to prison based on the testimony of a documented liar. The Phoenix police officer's history of dishonesty kept from her attorneys and from the jury. Brady lists are supposed to make sure something like that never happens.
After our first investigation, we obtained inside emails and documents. The Maricopa County Attorney's Office knew about exculpatory Brady evidence, Armour's lies, but just sat on it while Salazar sat in prison.
What they did to me is wrong, period, all the way around.
Before we get to the newly obtained emails, first, some backstory. Armour arrested Francis for drug possession at a traffic stop. He testified she admitted owning a pipe buried in the seats of a car that wasn't hers, that she wasn't driving. No body camera, no fingerprints, no drug tests, just Armour's word versus Francis's. That's the whole case. Listen to Prosecutor Elizabeth Lake's closing argument.
Look at who has a reason to lie. Look at who might have lied before.
She tells the jury Francis is the liar, Armour the unimpeachable truth teller.
Officer Armour is a police officer. He wouldn't have a reason to build a case against her once it's convinced. The defendant wants you to believe that she's the subject of some conspiracy to convict her. That's just not the case. You have a number of witnesses, all of them have a reason to lie. Have an officer who got on the stand and told you when I was a predator and she said, I'll take responsibility for her. Point. That's it. End of inquiry.
Just a month after sentencing, emails show Lake learns Armour is Brady listed. He is a liar. But the first question Lake asks her supervisor, do I need to disclose a copy of the Brady packet?
Exculpatory information. This is something that gets Francis out of prison. You do everything in your power in that moment to make sure it gets to the right people.
It just shows a systemic failing in terms of policies and procedures.
Lake also asks her boss, if I were to disclose the Brady packet, where would I file a motion for a protective order to prevent dissemination of the material for non-legal use? And how can we ensure that this material is not copied for the defendant or disseminated to other attorneys? In other words, records show Lake files for a protective order to seal the records, but she never sends the Brady info to Francis's trial attorneys. So they stuck information about his untruthfulness, his dishonesty, his lying, in a now dead old case file after the trial is over without telling anybody.
Yeah. And not even that. They didn't even put his conduct or his untruthful acts in the court file. It was just a notice of disclosure.
The county attorney's office and Lake have repeatedly declined to comment because of Francis's lawsuit. She spent 22 months in prison before her lawyers discovered Armour's Brady material and got a judge to order her release.
Oh, I know you guys. Come here.
The final question in Lake's email to her boss, is there something I should have done to prevent this? The answer? Not if he wasn't on the Brady list until after trial. We expect you to be good, but not clairvoyant. Clairvoyant, claiming to have powers to see the future. Armour lied almost a year before Francis's trial. Neither Phoenix PD, MCAO made sure those lies were disclosed. They didn't check or didn't care. That's not a lack of clairvoyance. It's an unconstitutional failure. I mean, do you think if you would have been able to tell the jury, this guy is a liar, he's lied in cases, do you think that would have made a difference?
Absolutely. I absolutely do.
How prevalent in these exonerations is the withholding of evidence?
It's quite common.
Sam Gross, an attorney, law professor, and founder of the National Registry of Exonerations. At the University of Michigan Law School, the registry is America's largest database of exonerations. And after seeing our reports, they added Francis Salazar, now one of more than 2,600 cases.
My guess is that the number of cases of innocent people who were convicted of crimes and not exonerated is easily 10 and maybe 100 or hundreds of times greater than the number who were exonerated.
Gross just published a 218-page research report titled Government Misconduct and Convicting the Innocent. It found concealing exculpatory evidence, which includes evidence like Officers' Brady files, is the most common type of misconduct, occurring in 44% of exonerations.
It's not just rare, occasional cases. It's a steady drip of cases in which we convict innocent people.
By matching our Brady database against disciplinary records, we found in Maricopa County alone at least 175 times since 2000 that police and prosecutors waited to put officers on the Brady list and didn't put them on as soon as they knew about credibility issues. The delays, usually months, sometimes years, and based on the incomplete data kept by officials, the 175 times, likely a significant undercount.
But that's the basis for...
Gross says it's why he believes public data, like the registry and our public database, are vitally important.
It's important because this is the only way we're going to learn how to do better and prevent miscarriages of justice like this in the future.
As for Phoenix police, they accept no blame for what happened to Frances.
How are you? Good? You're so beautiful.
After Armour lied, Phoenix never sent his case to the state police board for a review of his license. They chose to keep him on the force, and he retired this year under an accidental disability claim. He now receives a full pension and benefits.
And he continued to work. He continued to be a police officer.
About how many drug-related arrests would you say you've completed in your career?
Hundreds.
Who knows what's out there that he has, created havoc in their lives, who these people are, what's been done.
Coming up, staying silent, defending the seemingly indefensible, and veiled transparency. It's all become too common and accepted for our leaders.